Hey everyone, welcome back to Sawyer Ridge Farm. My name is Alex. Today I'm just going to be showing you guys around the farm. I'm going to be giving you an update on our plant starts that we have in the house under the LED lights. Also, I'm going to be showing you guys how we fertilize our fruit trees. So if you've watched our past videos, you know that we have 9 apple trees, a peach tree, and a cherry tree. And I've been in the process lately of getting those fertilized for the spring. I've been doing them maybe like one here, one there, because with that many fruit trees, it takes a little while, but it's worth it for sure. So I'm going to be showing you guys how we fertilize those. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm over here at one of our apple trees. I got all my supplies in the wheelbarrow, as you guys saw. And the first thing I'm going to show you guys that I do is pull up any weeds that are around it. Now, we put wood chips around the base of our trees to help keep the weeds from coming up as much, but they still come up. So, and it's springtime, weeds are really starting to come up. So right now, the first thing I'm going to do is just pull up any weeds that are around the base of the tree here. Alright guys, so I got most of the weeds pulled up around the tree here, at least where we had the wood chips from last year. Can't get all of them, but that's okay. I'll show you why in just a second. We're going to do things a little different this year than we did last year. But I'm going to show you guys what we put down for fertilizer next. Okay, so the first kind of fertilizer I'm putting down is some sea mineral. Now you might recognize this from whenever we did the self-wicking buckets video. This is the same fertilizer that Leon Sloan uses from Leon's greenhouses. He recommends this, so I'm going to try this on the trees. Never tried it on the trees, so we're going to see how it does. It's just sea mineral, and I'm going to do some of that. And also, the other kind is the Sustain. This is another good nitrogen source for the trees. It is basically composted down turkey feathers, I believe, and like turkey bedding and stuff like that. It works really well for these self-wicking tubs, so why not try it on the trees? And for the amounts, I'm just going to do about 1/4 cup of the sea mineral, which this little thing is about 1/4 cup here. So I'm going to do about 1/4 cup of the sea mineral and about 1/2 cup of the Sustain. And I'm just spreading that right here around the base of the tree. So I'm not going out too far, but just around the base of the tree, wherever the leaves are broadcasted over. So just around the base here, I'm going to sprinkle this sea mineral. And next, I'm going to do the Sustain. And like I said, I'm doing 1/2 cup of the Sustain and 1/4 cup of the sea mineral. Okay, and now the next thing that I'm going to be putting down is some composted down horse manure. This is the same stuff that we used in our raised beds. I'm just going to be spreading that around the base also. Alright, now that I have all the horse manure spread around the tree, the next part I'm going to be doing is a little bit different than what we did last year. Last year what we did to cover this was we put cardboard down, and then on top of the cardboard we put a pretty thick layer of wood chips or mulch. And it did really well for a while, but the cardboard kind of decomposed a little faster than I wanted it to. And so late in the summer it started growing grass up through there. And I don't know if you guys saw, we keep cages around our trees to deter like wild deer or hogs from coming and rubbing up on the trees, or the hogs rooting up the trees. So we keep cages around them. And whenever you have grass growing up through here, it's kind of hard to have to reach through the cage, pull out the weeds. So this year I'm not dealing with the cardboard. It served its purpose, it did all right. But this year I'm going to be doing a fabric, a weed barrier, that's what it's called. The fabric weed barrier is what I'm going to be using on the trees this year, and hopefully that will do the trick on keeping the weeds from growing up around the tree, because when your trees are real young like this, you really got to keep the weeds off of them, because that will kill them faster than anything. Their first couple of years, you really got to keep the weeds down. Now the rooster's going to start crowing over there. But keeping the weeds down can be the difference in a successful tree and an unsuccessful tree. So the first few years, really do your best to keep the weeds down around the base of your tree. So I'm going to be putting down the black plastic, and I'll show you guys doing that right now. Look at this. I leave the tree for 2 seconds. Chickens are already scratching in there. That's another reason we put the cages around it, because the chickens just scratch out all the manure I just put down. Go on. Go on. Okay, so this is the ground cover that I'm going to be using. It's the same stuff that we put in our self-wicking tubs. So basically what I'm going to do is just kind of find the center here. Where's my scissors at? There they are. And I got to cut a hole here in the middle for the trunk. So what I'm going to do is just find the center, about right there. And then I'm going to come over here from the side and cut up. And then when I get to that part that I poked a hole through, I'm just going to make a little hole there, just big enough for the trunk. You don't want to make it too big or grass will grow up through there. So, now that I got that cut, it should look something like this. You're just going to wrap this around the tree. Another thing I forgot to mention, when you're putting your compost or any kind of mulch down on your trees, you want to be sure and leave the graft site. So these trees have been grafted. You want to be sure and leave the graft site above the ground. You don't want to bury that because it can cause problems with the tree. So just a quick tip, when you're putting mulch or fertilizer or anything around your trees, be sure and leave that graft site above the ground. Okay, and now I'm going to be using these little staples here. These are like 6-inch staples. And securing down this black plastic, because we get some crazy winds here in Oklahoma, and this thing will be way over across the neighbor's pasture if I don't staple it down. So I'm just going to use these and staple it down and make sure it's nice and secure. Of course, I picked the rockiest area for a demonstration. That'll work. Look who came to join me.
I'm here.
He's like a blister.
It's like a blister?
Yeah.
How am I like a blister?
You show up when the work's done.
Oh, there you go.
Alright, so as you can see, I got the ground cover down around the tree. Now all that's left is to water it in, and what I'm going to be using over here, brought it in my wheelbarrow, is some compost tea. This is composted tea from the horse manure that we got. So I'm just going to dump this around. And another thing I forgot to mention, some people might be wondering, how does the water get to the tree with that cover over it? This is a permeable cover, so water will go through it, but it doesn't allow the weeds to grow up, so it's perfect. But I'm just going to water this in with this compost tea. I'm not going to put a whole lot. We've got a lot of rain here lately, so that'll do. And then the only thing left to do is to put the cage back over the tree. Now, I'm going to have you come in here real quick. When we cut these cages, we cut the bottom. See this wire right here? We cut that off the bottom here. So you can see there's these little stakes. And that's what secures the cage from flying off. So basically we just push that in the ground like that all the way around. Alright, so I got the cage on, and like I said before in the intro, I'm going to show you guys an update on our plant starts that we've had underneath the LED lights in the house. So let me go over there and show you guys how they're doing. So here is our pepper plants. These are doing really well. Just about everything came up. The Carolina Reaper never came up, but I kind of expected that. Also, my cayennes didn't come up, but I tried replanting them, so we'll see if they come up the second time. Everything else is looking really good. Lately, we've been having some really nice days, so I've been bringing them outside and trying to harden them off. So whenever I do plant them in the garden, they don't get a shock from being inside to outside. So when we have a really nice day, I usually will just set them here on the porch to let them get some natural sunlight, and that's called hardening your plants off. And I did that today, and I think since I've been doing that, they've really been shooting up. Don't get me wrong, the LED lights are doing fantastic. I really, really like the lights this year. They've been doing great, and we'll definitely be using those in the future. So here's my peppers, and over here, my tomato plants are doing really well. Also, let me flip these around here for you. Everything came up on my tomato plants. So this year we're trying a wide variety of tomatoes. So I'm really excited to see these mature and start getting some fresh tomatoes for eating. That's going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. Just getting the trees fertilized is something that's been on my to-do list, and just getting one done here and there really helps lighten the load instead of doing all 11 at the same time. So I'm glad I got that done. I'm glad I got to bring you guys along. If you have any questions or comments, be sure and leave them in the description box below, and we'll be glad to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure and subscribe if you're not already. Have a great day. Take care, and God bless. Do it again. Hold on. I can do it. Take two. Got her done. Hey, hush it. Hush. I'm trying to make a video.